6 is actually very much related, and Heinz alluded on that one already, which is the managing of the industrial IoT assets and digital twins. There are a number of challenges. The number of endpoints in the Internet of Things is increasing, and that is creating new attack surfaces, which require also kind of new solutions in the cybersecurity space. But aside of that one, there are a number of processes, whether it be maintenance, whether it's kind of like process automation, integration of artificial intelligence, traceability, which are creating actually a number of challenges which need to be addressed. And the fact that effectively everyone is trying to harvest this data, and on the other side doesn't want to share the data, is creating quite a lot of tension between competing, for example, OEM and machine manufacturers and equipment manufacturers, and the actual users. So effectively, blockchain technology can help in this context by providing a powerful foundation, again, through digital identities, which enables the handling of people, for example, who can do maintenance, who is authorized, or who also kind of has the ability to access to data, to an asset or whatever. It also allows now the allocating of data between collaborators which are not trusting each other, due to the fact that effectively the amount of data I share is actually really controlled, and it's not kind of like I take it and do whatever I want to do with it, but the owner originator of the data has control over the data and what he actually is sharing. And I mentioned one example effectively with the birthday already. Think in a similar way around data which is kind of collected, for example, from a machine. And the last one as such is, by nature, this is technology is adding security, it's adding immutability, traceability, and it enables to verify by design who actually has access to this information. Then the point 7, lack of trusted data. Trust in itself, or the ability to provide effectively trustworthy data, becomes more and more important. Through the technology, the data in itself per se is time-chained and immutable, and that kind of then introduces or reduces effectively the risk which is coming from regulation, counterfeiting for taxation, marketing, and reputation. So we can record and establish truth through events, data, and facts, which are recorded on the blockchain. The handling of this data is done effectively on the basis of a need-to-know principle, and that is enabled effectively through scalable solutions which are embedded in layer 2 technology, and that's kind of like the next generation of blockchain, which is layer 2 for scalability, hashing, and zero knowledge proof, whereby you're not sharing the data per se, but effectively have the ability to verify the truth of certain information. And by implementing this technology, the misuse of data in itself is always ruled out by design. So you just share what you actually want to share. We've seen, and that's point 8, that there is always a resistance from traditional organizations. We kind of have a number of visions and strategies which are kind of trying to bring the ideation, innovation, improvement in a corporate environment together based on servant leadership, and including diversity and inclusion elements into it. But when you look into the implementation in the traditional corporate environments, you often see the siloed way to look at information, and the functions and hierarchies are very much kind of hindering actually this advancements which we're trying to achieve in corporate environments. So how can blockchain help in this context? Blockchain opens new forms of autonomous organizations within the boundaries of a functional or a corporate setup. It could even be within an ecosystem, and that empowers and enables effectively the ideation and decision making in a more transparent and democratic way. by a sudden hierarchies are not that important anymore, but it does not jeopardize accountability because the immutability of whatever was decided is still there. So in that context, it is a lot more inclusive, or it enables a lot more inclusive environment than we might be able to do that today. And that in itself is giving attractive incentives, which encourage engagements, which gives us advantages also in the ESG area, in the diversity and inclusion. So we can by a sudden use organizational setups in a different way and drive innovation also forward by using blockchain technologies. Then the point number 9, that's actually addressing the gap of knowledge, which often prevents innovation to really break through because the knowledge in itself is not there, and the skills are not there, which kind of then leads to the fact that technology is not used in the right and best way. So how can blockchain, or how we can help in that context? We can provide an access to relevant and interdisciplinary training, and you see that on the right-hand side through the Innovation Academy. We, from our side, support the ideation, the substantiation, and the piloting of focused innovation through the accelerator program. We mentioned the accelerator program already before, and we provide sandboxes and services so that you can safely actually kind of experiment and implement in that context, and help also effectively with our consulting services on that side. And last but not least, the point number 10, the complexity of new business models and the lack of incentives. We try to do new things which have higher complexity, but they all often fall short because it introduces technical complexities. You have to download an app to participate. It's not really convenient, and the user experience in itself is very much fragmented due to the fact that effectively the solution in itself normally needs an individual way to interact. And that's becoming a blocker. If you look at your phone, how many apps perhaps you have installed on your mobile phone, it normally starts to become at a certain moment in time the battle with the memory, even if you have one phone which has quite a big storage capability. How is blockchain technology helping? There are privacy advantages, and there is an attractive user experience effectively enabled through digital identities. There are two terms which are kind of used in this context: SSI, which stands for self-sovereign identity. So the user controls his identity and the data he's sharing himself. And also the self-managed digital twin through effectively zero knowledge proof. I just share that information which I want to share, but it's actually under one roof, and it doesn't matter which use case we are looking at. The underpinning technology is the same, and that enhances the user experience. And that enables a number of new models for suppliers, customers, consumers to get them involved, and to get them actually involved in a number of different new use cases with a known technology, which doesn't require effectively an installation of an app for every single use case. And through the ability of transfer of value, we by a sudden have a totally new way to incentivize participation from a customer and consumer perspective. There is a new way also to share effectively these incentives. Think about effectively a frequent flyer model, which is independent from the industry in itself.